Becoming YouTube is a 12-part video documentary that is being released in 12 non-consecutive weeks by Benjamin Cook. The documentary is based mostly around exploring the world of video blogging and questions about YouTube and video blogging and stuff like that, and it's very interesting and cool, and there's a link down in the description and you should watch it. Part 5 in particular was very interesting to me because it delved into a topic that I personally have thought a lot about, and I think it explored just about like every aspect that you could think about it. Part 5 of Becoming YouTube is called Why is a Nerdfighter, and it talks basically about just fandom in general, specifically Nerdfighteria, the audience of John and Hank, the Vlogbrothers. Like I said, the video covers multiple sides of the topic, so this is just going to be more of a food for thought thing rather than a complaining video response. For me, the base theme that I got out of this video is that fans ruin everything, which is basically true. Every contributor to every form of media has its fan base, and the fan base is made up of individuals, but it's not thought of that way. Of course, every single fan of every media that's ever existed is their own individual person, but when you put them together like that, they cease to be that. They become the beard lovers and the Whovians and the Nerdfighters. That's when they cease to be this individual person who likes this one thing, and they become a big stereotyped generalized entity, and it's usually associated with negative things. Part 5 of Becoming YouTube used video blogging as the media and Nerdfighters as the fan base as this example. If I really had any gripes about the video, it's that the people in it sort of also fall victim to this stereotyping and generalizing about fan bases. I mean, this isn't Ben's fault in particular, this is what a collective group of people said in interviews. For the most part, it was acknowledged that Nerdfighteria at its core is a very good thing, but it's the stupid people in Nerdfighteria that ruin it. That often Nerdfighters can be annoying, hyperactive zombies that follow every word of John and Hank, and that sometimes they'll betray the most basic ideals of Nerdfighteria if someone says something mean about it. I think a lot of the YouTube personalities that were interviewed for this video sort of fell victim to that generalizing and stereotyping. Liam Dryden says that most Nerdfighters will just jump right on you if you say anything bad about their ideals. Tomska said, "Oh, Nerdfighters, they're so annoying and so close-minded." And some of them definitely are. But not all of them, and Ben does say that in the video. But even so, while a form of media may be created to do one thing, fans can turn it into a completely different other thing, and the original creator has no control over that. Nerdfighters can be evil and annoying and proud of their social awkwardness, and John and Hank can't control that. This doesn't just happen with YouTube, it happens with all media. I mean, people don't hate One Direction for the One Direction. They hate One Direction because of the fans of One Direction. Let's just picture for a second that One Direction is brand new and there is no discernible fan base. If there's no screaming zombie preteen girls, then you really have no initial thought of what to think of them. There'd be absolutely nothing between you and the band, and then you'd actually be forced to form your own opinion. The Vlogbrothers Nerdfighteria is a good example of how fans can take source material and sort of morph it and twist it until it's not recognizable. One of the topics covered in Part 5 of Becoming YouTube is how Nerdfighteria tends to promote social awkwardness and nerdiness, and it might not be a good thing. While that may be what Nerdfighteria is about today, it was probably not what the original idea was. The whole idea behind the Vlogbrothers and Nerdfighteria isn't to promote social awkwardness, but more to embrace it if it cripples you. You know, to wear it right on your sleeve and let it propel you out into the world. And as the video stated, that's a good thing, but the video also explained how the fan base, the Nerdfighters, have sort of morphed that and flipped it out of proportion and turned it into a completely new moral. Which is, unfortunately, rather than embracing your flaws and using them to make yourself a better person, is sort of becoming something that you're not, which is that's not a good message at all. Or maybe these new morphed ideals run something more along the lines of what Carrie Fletcher says in Part 5 of the series, which is something like celebrating it makes it less of a problem. I'm not really sure. But that's getting a little bit off track. Anyways, what I've been saying about how Nerdfighteria can morph things by itself as an entity, I've been generalizing the fan base, which is something I said was a bad thing. It's hard not to generalize and stereotype when you place people in such tight-knit groups like that. And it's even more interesting because nobody really belongs to a specific group. I am a Nerdfighter. I am a beard lover. That's what it confuses me when people get in such intense, like, word battles over things that they really don't have to have any loyalty to. Have you ever read the comment section of any Toby Games video or any PewDiePie video? They're insane. Here you have two YouTube channels with two guys who make the same format of commentary, and their fans are crazy. They will get in the most heated comment wars I have ever seen about who's better, and it doesn't matter. Both Tobuscus and PewDiePie have publicly stated that they are both separate content creators, and there's no reason to compare them, but even so, their fans battle on. What I'm trying to say, I guess, is that yeah, fans can ruin things, but it's important to remember also that it's not every fan.